All right, folks, it's Sherman Ray from Livin in Vegas podcast. Time to get the show started. Hey, and good morning, everybody. This is Sherman Ray, and this is the Livin in Vegas podcast. We come to you each and every day, Monday through Friday, talk to you about the people, the places, the trends, the events that shape the city of Las Vegas. When you think of living in Vegas, folks, think living local and think the return of cool. That's right, folks. Hey, and it's good to be back on the show today, folks. I got to tell you, I got a real funny story to tell you. It's yesterday. I lost a day. I did. I lost an entire day, and I was just like freaking out by the end of the day. And I'll tell you all about it. But before we do that, let's welcome all of our friends from Facebook, and of course the dogs that are outside that are barking. I got to talk to my neighbors about their dogs. They're really just driving me crazy in the morning anymore. But that's all right. We'll get them one of these days. So if you're joining us on Facebook, on our group page, on our Livin in Vegas magazine page, I want to welcome you to the show, folks, this morning. Livin Weekly, going to be there. I'm looking really forward to the issue that's coming out Friday for Livin Weekly, and also Friday. Guess what else is coming out? That's right, folks. The new issue of Livin in Vegas magazine. So many of you, this might be your first time checking out the show. I'm Sherman Ray. I'm the publisher, Livin in Vegas magazine, and quarterly magazine. We're coming out with our July magazine Friday. It'll be out Friday. That'll be the first. So this is 4th of July weekend. We're going to talk a lot about that. So, but if you'd like to still see this magazine, you missed it. Let's say you're one of the few people on the planet who missed Livin in Vegas magazine over the last couple of months. You can go to our website at livininvegas.com. That's livininvegas.com. And you can check out the current issue of Livin in Vegas magazine. So many cool things that are still relevant and popular today. Also on that page, we have our Livin Weekly magazine. And we're updating this one Friday also. So you're going to be able to see it. But you can still see the Friday, the last week's edition. It talks about Juneteenth, talks about some Father's Day's gifts, that kind of stuff. Still very cool stuff that's in both of those magazines. So I encourage you to check them both out. Okay. So let's pay a couple of bills, and then we're going to get on with the show today. A lot of cool stuff going on, and we want to tell you all about it. We'll be right back. Hi, everybody. It's Sherman Ray for Livin in Vegas podcast. Are you a business owner that's looking to get the word out about his product, service, or even just a great message out there? Well, we'd like to give you that opportunity by being a guest on Livin in Vegas podcast. It's super simple. All you've got to do is contact us at advertising@livininvegas.com. That's advertising@livininvegas.com, and we'll schedule you for an interview on Livin in Vegas podcast. I'm Sherman Ray for Livin in Vegas podcast, where we talk about the people, the places, the trends, and the events that shape the city of Las Vegas. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. And we're back, folks. This is Sherman Ray. This is the Livin in Vegas podcast. When you think of Livin in Vegas, folks, think living local. Also, think the return of cool. Vegas is cool again. We were talking about this yesterday. We're going to continue to talk about it because I'm really feeling that. See, yeah, I grew up in Vegas. I know a lot of you grew up in Vegas also, but I grew up in Vegas, and growing up in Vegas during the 60s, moving forward, and I know even though I've got gray hair, I am fairly old. Growing up in Vegas, the Vegas I know today is not the Vegas I grew up in, and the Vegas I grew up in was markedly different in the coolness factor. So it's not that Vegas isn't cool now. I mean, Vegas is, and we're going to do a story on this in just a minute, but it was just different. And so we're starting a new thing talking about the return of cool. And the return of cool means a different swagger, because that was a different swagger in the days when I was a kid. And I'll tell you, it's really what drove people here in the first place. I don't know if you notice it, but if you look on History Channel, that kind of stuff, they're doing a lot more stories about Las Vegas and how Las Vegas was actually built, and who was the first person to dream of doing a mega resort here. The guy's name is Wilkerson. Many of you, and actually, I grew up with some Wilkersons. I wonder if it's their family. I wonder if it is. We'll find out. I know I shouldn't play with my camera lens. Just so happened to be there, and I couldn't help but pick it up. But the story of Vegas when it was first started was of a guy who had a real bad gambling problem. Just had a gambling problem, and he decided, you know what, I'm going to create this mega resort, unlike anything else, any other gambling hall that had ever been built to that point. And because he knew what he liked in a gambling establishment, that's what he decided he was going to build. And it was going to be the Frontier. And many of you know that that was the first, hotel, casino, mega resort. I mean, a real resort that was built here in Las Vegas. And so, kind of, it traces a story. And I saw the story on the History Channel. And as the story went, the guy hit speed bump after speed bump because one thing, he needed to make payroll. He needed to buy parts and pieces and pay his, construction people. And the way he thought of doing it was gambling. Some little side hustle thing. And he would bet $200,000 because he needed $400,000, lose it all. And, that's kind of the way it went for the time that he was building the place. Then one day he was popping off at a gambling at one of these little one of these little hole in the walls that he was gambling in. Next to him happened to be the guy who was the mob guy for San Francisco. So Vegas at the time was still just a desert. I mean, it was just a kind of a little desert. San Francisco though was already thriving, and the guy who was over the San Francisco hub for the mafia was listening to this conversation about this guy talking about this resort that he's going to build here in Las Vegas. Nobody even knew where Las Vegas was. They didn't know what Las Vegas meant. But this guy said, I'm going to build this. Wilkerson guy said, I'm going to build something here. So, as fate would have it, Wilkerson hit rock bottom once again, really was going to have to fold up tent because he just didn't have the money to finish the resort that he had envisioned. In comes a guy with some money, and he says, hey, I'm here to make your day. I've got a one-time offer for you. And he says, I want 51% of your business. And it's a one-time offer. It's $1 million. And really it was a offer that Wilkerson could not refuse. He took the money. A couple months later, he found out that the guy he had accepted the money from was not just some really nice guy off the street. He was part of the mob, and he was Bugsy Siegel's guy, Chicago mob guys. And a couple months later, Bugsy says, "Hey, Wilkie, you're out of here too, and this is not a suggestion. You're out of here, right?" Slides a gun across the table, says, "Hey, sign or don't, but you're out of here. Either way, you're out of here." And that's how the mob was able to. Now, of course, the mob knew nothing about gambling and nothing about hospitality. They just saw it as a money-making venture. But that's kind of how the first casino was actually built here in Las Vegas. Was the vision was of a guy who thought, hey, guess what? I know what I like in gambling. And the mob moved in as they would for a few years after that, because they were only here for like a year, right? About a year, something like that. Okay, so let me tell you what happened yesterday, folks. I thought I would tell you that story. So these are stories that you're not going to get anyplace else, folks. You're just not going to get them if you're watching, one of the regular TV shows or something like that. You just don't get this backstory on Las Vegas because they don't know it. They just don't know Vegas like we know Vegas here. If you have to live here, you've got to actually live here. So, once again, I want to welcome all of our friends on Facebook. If you're watching us on YouTube, if you're on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to our channel. Okay, don't wait, folks. Just subscribe. Just do it right now. It's not an impulse thing. Just hit that subscribe button right here. Hit it and be done with it. So every time we upload a video, you can be a part of it. Yeah. So 4th of July weekend is coming up, and Vegas is on a list. Wallet Hub put us on a list of the top 5 places to go in the nation for 4th of July. So we're actually number 4 on the list. Yeah, I mean that's pretty darn good. Now we knew we'd be on the list because we're actually a pretty cool place to go. There's really not much. There's probably not much pushback from all the other places that said, "Hey, we're better than Vegas," because they're not. There's just no way. We have the hotels, we've got the restaurants, we've got the fireworks, we've got the weather, we've got the other attractions other than fireworks. Vegas just happens to be the best place on the planet. Now, ahead of us on that list were places like, and I don't know how, I think Wallet Hub is probably located in San Francisco. Okay, San Francisco is number 1. Los Angeles, really? Now, these 2 other places, Washington, D.C., and then Atlanta. So it goes San Francisco, Los Angeles, D.C., and then Atlanta. Okay? Okay. So the first 2, I don't know why they're even on the list. Unless you want to be in a drug-infested hellhole and you can't afford to actually even be there, you shouldn't even be there. Okay, there's no reason why you even go there. D.C., I would love to go to D.C. And as an African American, Atlanta, come on, you gotta go to Atlanta. I mean, it's Mecca for black folks. It is what it is. So you separate out the good with the bad. Vegas is number 1. Just saying. Just the way it is. Henderson and North Las Vegas weren't nearly as fortunate as Vegas. They came out 87th and 71st respectively. So Henderson was 87th on the list. 71st was North Las Vegas. Reno was 41st. Okay, the biggest little city in the world. They were the 41st on that list. So later on today, we'll actually have this up on our website. I've got many of you know that today I'm going to be doing a interview over at Caesar's Palace. So I'm going to be over at Caesar's. Hence the. So I'm going to probably put on a tie, but so we'll be over at Caesar's Palace. We're going to be doing an interview for Chic Compass. They asked me to do and to fill in for them doing their podcast, which is I'm so excited. Thank you so much, Anne Parenti and her crew over there at Chic Compass. Thank you for asking me to step in. I'm so honored to do that. So now I will dovetail into my story. So my story is this. Yesterday, I thought I had missed the appointment that I have for today. Yeah, I lost an entire day. I literally lost an entire day, and I did not even realize it. So I was working on the magazine yesterday because the magazine's got to come out Friday. Okay, magazine's got to come out Friday. So everything, we're finalizing it. We're putting together this and that and this and that and everything. So when I work on a magazine, I get like this, folks. I get tunnel vision, and because I'm going to get it done. Many of you know if I put my mind to something, it's going to get done. And so I was there. I was right there, and it wasn't until 3 o'clock. Yeah, something like that. 3 o'clock that I noticed I was getting ready to do something. What was I getting ready to do? I was getting ready to do something, or I moved a box or something like that, and I went, oh, shoot. Oh, yeah, sound equipment for the interview. I was moving the sound equipment for a minute, and I went, oh, shoot. I was supposed to have been at that appointment at 10 o'clock. And I went, oh my gosh, I've screwed up. I've just completely screwed up. And then of course I rationalized and I go, look, I've got a magazine I got to put out. The podcast that I was doing for a friend, I'm very upset about it, but really my first and my priority is to our magazine and to you. I got to get our stuff out first. So I pick up my wife from work, and I'm hesitating to even tell her because Ann Parenti is one of my wife's really good friends. Okay, and Ann, if I were not married to my wife, I probably wouldn't know Ann because Ann Parenti has been a part of our life. And Ann Parenti, many of you know who she is. She is the founder of an organization that does they do grants and scholarships for jazz musicians here in the Vegas Valley. Forgot the name of it, but I've been to a few of their events over the years. Just a fantastic group. And she's the publisher of Chic Compass, the magazine. So I'm saying to myself, okay, I got to tell my wife that I screwed this up. You know how it is, guys. You got to tell your wife that you screwed up something. It's probably not the first thing you're going to go, hey, honey, how you doing? Oh, guess what? I screwed up something. No, you don't do that. You gotta go around it. You gotta look it over. You gotta look it up. You gotta look it down. Figure the right timing, and then you give it to her. So, the time was right. I said, honey, I screwed up. She goes, oh, what'd you screw up? And you got to know my wife. My wife tends to go that way anyways. So if I say I screwed up, she's going, oh my gosh, it happened. What did you do? And I go, hey, honey, I screwed up. I was supposed to have been at the meeting today. And I knew it was, and she's going, honey. You know how they are. You know how wives are. Honey. You should give yourself a reminder. It's supposed to be, I go, honey, I've got it written down on 4 or 5 maps. I got this, on that. I got it on calendars. I know the event is on Wednesday. I know it is. I've been talking about it for weeks now. I know it's on Wednesday. I talk about it on my podcast. You guys know it, okay? Everybody knows I'm doing this podcast. I just screwed up, honey. I'm working on my magazine, and then I get indignant, right? I get indignant. I go, look, I got a magazine to put out. I don't have no time for everybody else's stuff. I got stuff to do. And she says, she goes, honey, today's Wednesday? I go, of course it's Wednesday. Yeah, see, you lost today too, didn't you? You laugh. You lost today, I lost today. She goes, honey, today's not Wednesday. I went, Thoing? What? What do you mean today's not Wednesday? So I grab my phone, right? I know I'm spending all this time on this. I get on my phone, and of course, the first thing you see on your phone is the date, right? This was yesterday. Tuesday. I go, you gotta be kidding me. Oh my gosh, it's Tuesday. Remember like that commercial? Is it Tuesday, Harvey? Is it Tuesday? And I go, oh my gosh, this is awesome. This is so cool. I didn't screw up. I'm good to go. Honey, forget about the conversation we just had. Just forget about it, okay? She looks at me like, I'm not forgetting nothing. You screwed up. So today I do Ann Parenti's podcast over at Caesar's Palace. And we're going to be doing Anne Fontaine. So Anne Fontaine she's a fashion designer, is all over the world. She's from Brazil, and looking really forward to this. And so Ann Parenti, if you're hearing this podcast, sorry, I didn't screw up though. So that's the funny part about it. I didn't screw up. I'm there today. I'm going to take care of it. 1 hour from now, I'll be over at Caesar's Palace. I might even put a little bit of it on our Facebook page just to show you guys all this stuff. What time is it? Oh gosh, we're almost out of time. Okay, let's go on to something else. What else do we got to do? This is another one. This is really important, folks. And we will put this on our website because tomorrow might be the final time that you're going to be able to take advantage of this. Yesterday, actually 2 things. Let's do the first thing first. Do I have time to do both? Yeah, I do. I got time to do them both. Let's do the first one. TikTok. Many of you are on TikTok. right now. And I do not have TikTok on my phone. And the reason why is because I heard a couple of years ago that TikTok was just a way for the Chinese government to steal your data from you. I got to make sure I don't have it on my phone because I don't think I ever downloaded it because I'm just that guy. And we were told at the time by a prior administration, by the Trump administration, that TikTok was a way for the Chinese government to steal your data and to basically spy on you. He was poo-pooed, and everybody went, "Oh, you're an idiot. You're an orange, mean old orange man." Okay, FCC today. You know where I'm going with this. FCC, Federal Communications Commission, today sent out a letter to Apple and anybody else who has an app store where TikTok is on, and they are telling you to remove it from the App Store because they found out in their independent investigation, I know, I'm going there already, folks, that China is using TikTok to spy on its users. Okay, so I'm a little pissed off, not because China's doing what it does. China does what it does. They are who they are. But that we were told 2 years ago, 3 years ago, not to get this on your phone. Don't let them into America. And people said, no, China's all right. China's great guys. They're great guys who want to take over the world. And they were found out to be the guys we thought they were. Okay. So if you have TikTok on your phone, this actually, we'll leave a link to this too because this just came out this morning. That if you have TikTok on your phone, folks, you can do whatever you want, but the FCC is asking that it be taken off of the App Store. Okay, it's taken off the App Store because they found out that China is using TikTok. Okay, you know that the app that everybody thinks is cool, doing all their videos, they're using it to steal your data and to spy on you. Okay, all right. So lastly, last story is about your home. Okay, I do have enough time. Oh, it's doing this very fast. About your home. And this is probably the most important part right here. Your home, there was you probably, in the mail, you probably got a card from the county assessor's office telling you about the value of your home if you own a home. And it basically said, hey, guess what? Your property value went up. Yay, 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 yay. You know, if you had a place that was worth $100,000, now it's worth $400,000. Oh, sorry, your taxes are going up on that house too. Well, unfortunately, what happened is, what happens is we passed a ballot a number of years ago that basically said that our property taxes, even if our property values went up, would be capped at 3%. Okay, that we actually have a cap on our property taxes. Well, that only happens if you have your home as your residence. That's your primary residence for it. So it's only for your primary residence, not for your rental or something like that. And also that little card that you got in the mail, that's from the assessor's office that says, hey, look at me, you know, the one you throw away all the time. You have to send that back. And it has to be in by tomorrow. Okay, you know what I'm saying? So we will leave a link to the assessor's office, and this is really important, folks. I mean, if not, you could literally lose thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars because your property taxes are going to go up. Okay, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If your property value went up, your property taxes are going to go up. But how much is it going to go up? That's the most important part. We will leave a link to this because you need to contact the assessor's office, okay, to say, I want to take advantage of this cap on my property taxes. Now, I saw this on Facebook yesterday, and then I looked it up this morning, and it's true, okay? If you're interested in taking advantage of the property tax cap, you're encouraged to contact the county assessor's office. Now, there are two ways to do it. There's going to be a link that we're going to leave, and also there's actually two links because one will get you to a phone number that I believe that they're overrun right now. The other one is to an actual link that you can actually fill out online and send it in with your parcel number, the whole thing. Okay. Or there, I guess there's a third way. The third way is that card you got in the mail. Okay, and I wish I had mine with me right now. I don't have it. The card you got in the mail, that needs to be post dated and mailed back to the assessor's office. Okay, it's got to get in before tomorrow's the last day. Okay, so tomorrow's the last day. Let me double check on this. Yeah, it's got to be in by tomorrow. This is the 30th. So, once again, this is if you didn't hear anything else I said today, be sure to go to our website livininvegas.com. Okay, livininvegas.com. We will leave the link to this most important article that is going to talk about your property taxes and trying to keep them low. Okay, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about this, folks. You do not want to screw around with this and say, oh, well, it's no big deal. Because when you get your property tax and they say, hey, guess what? This is how much you pay, you could be paying twice as much because some of your properties went up twice as much. I know mine did. Okay, my property went up probably twice as much. Actually, mine went up 5 times as much from the time I bought it. No, 6 times. 5 times. 5 times the amount my property went up. And there's a way that you can keep that down to a manageable level. Okay. We got time for one more. Let's do one more. Let's do one more article. Do we want to do that one, this one, that one? Okay, let's do this. So weekend coming up, 4th of July. We talked about some of the places that you can go to see the fireworks. It's awesome. Great places. Now we found out that Caesars is the only place on the strip that's actually going to be shooting off fireworks. Okay, it's kind of unfortunate. But what things should you have in your backyard barbecue? What things should you have? Okay, let's give you a list of some of the things that you probably should have in a backyard barbecue. One is a t-shirt that says red, white, and booze. Okay, or red, white, and boom, okay, if you like. Okay, so you got to have the t-shirt. Number two is you should have an American-themed beverage cozy, or like something that says America on it, red, white, and blue, that kind of stuff, and or a belt that so that instead of you just having a cozy that you have to carry around, how about a belt that has cozies in it, so you can just like a 6-shooter, you can walk around, but it's got to be red, white, and blue. Once again, the beverage cozies, okay, patriotic beverage cozies. How about star-spangled bannered hammered wine tumblers? You notice where this theme of this is going. With a lid and straw. So maybe a wine glass. Very cool. As a matter of fact, my wife and I are getting into wine a lot more. More, and of course, what backyard barbecue would be complete without red, white, and blue themed napkins? Napkins, supplies, that kind of stuff. It's got to have something on it. It's got to be something cool. You can get all this stuff online too. How about inflatable drink holders? But they've got to be patriotic. Okay, drink holders, the floatable ones. So when you're laying around in the pool or your friend's pool, you're laying around and it's floating around, red, white, and blue. There you go. Very cool stuff. How about red, white, and blue floating beer pong? When was the last time you played beer pong? Okay, I don't know. I haven't played one in a while. And of course, the last and not least, red, white, and blue glow stick necklaces. Because somebody's going to have to find you at the end of the night if you've been drinking all day long, and you're going to need something around your neck for them to find you. There you go. So, and many, many other things that are on this list that we just don't have time to talk about today. Anyways, folks, we've got to take off. Once again, I've got an event that we're going to be doing here. At 10 o'clock, we'll be over at Caesar's Palace doing a real cool. I'm very excited. Once again, Ann Perenni, thank you for asking me to sit in for your folks over at Chic Compass, doing your podcast for you. I'll be over at Caesar's Palace over. And if some of you guys want to be over there, I'll be over there about 10 o'clock over Ann Fontaine's. So I'll be over there interviewing Ann Billings over there. So you can check that out. Be there at 10 o'clock. For the rest of you, we will see you again tomorrow for the Thursday edition. I remember the day. The Thursday edition of Livin in Vegas podcast. Thank you, folks, so much for being a part of the show. Be sure to check our website out, livininvegas.com, for all the links to the stuff we talked about today, and of course to the property tax thing, because that's not a joke. You don't want to mess with that. Okay. Anyways, it's been Sherman Ray for Livin in Vegas podcast, where we talk about the people, places, trends, the events that shape that city of Las Vegas. When you think of living in Vegas, think living local and the return of cool. We'll talk to you later, folks. Bye-bye.